Okay, the time is, I'm gonna waste no time at this. 10:53 p.m., September 30th, 2025. The phone got really hacked by this video. My camera app is going haywire. Anything could happen with this camera app. Anything. It was visible hack, and I'm just not going to put myself through it trying to describe it with the way I speak after prolonged traumatic events. Just please believe me, the phone camera app is really, really big and bad, not functional. It is hacked. HACKED, hacked by this video at the time I put in the intro. Okay. The social media apps are going crazy too. They are visibly and obviously really hacked. At that rate, I don't know what will be able to go onto the internet, what will ever be put up, and how long it will take because of everything being hacked. Really big, really bad. From the hardware of the phone itself, the camera app itself, and how it visibly is going haywire just to film this, all the way to the apps that I upload the films on. Okay? Okay. Everything is really hacked. It was not as bad until the time I stated in the beginning of this testimony. Now it is really bad, the hacks. All right, so let's just say this. Beyond what I have said today about the bashing and the combat going on under the floor. Okay, there's been an explosive weapon in my bathroom. I said that. So what I want to say today is beyond the construction that was just stunning that they never stopped. No, in 1503 and 1505. Okay, beyond that, what brought the helicopters was this, and I've seen this. Oh my God, at least 50 times, and it's been this heavy. Stuff like this in the last year. And I am glad I'm documenting it. So when I'm in the park in my tent, I can review my documents and do more testimonies that are even better than now. That is because I will never in my life forget what happened here. So I'm going to do that. Oh, I say wrong. I'm going to do this testimony to show the public the military stuff here, and for myself, so I can say, oh yeah, that day, oh yeah, let's write about this, let's talk about this. I have years of my life going forward of stuff and things to talk and write about. So what I did document will help that a lot. Okay, so that's why I do this now. So what I want to say is this happens. It's not the only thing that happens in 1513 S Street Northwest, but this happens so much. It's incredible. It happens. I have a hard time right now to describe how much. It's so much. It's incredible. But we can describe and do better job at this later, like I have just said to the public later and coming soon. details about how much and what. I mean, I got more, okay? I got years of it. Years of it. I'm not going to stop until I'm all dried up. Okay, so 1513 S Street Northwest, all right? One of these homosexual men, they got a whole bunch of homosexual men packed in there, all right? They're all white. There's no African American people that ever go in there. No, it's a neo-Nazi, like I've said. I've said it and I've said it and I've said it again. That is neo-Nazi. And we'll describe and talk about in so much detail you will not question what I'm talking about, okay? But my ability to do that right now is not the best with my speech impediment, and it's not necessary right now. What I need to say is the military op, and I need to say it in a summary, in a synopsis, and we'll do the details later, and you can count on that. I will devote my life to saying what happened here in vengeance. In vengeance. Okay. So, as soon as one of these white homosexual men, I couldn't look out the window. It was too dangerous today to go online, to look out my window, to go to floor 2, to even leave my room. Well, today, beyond the explosive weapon in my bathroom, I was able to go get water in my bucket and wash my armpits and my rear end and my face. You know, I do the face first, then the armpits, then the rear end, then the feet. That's all I could do. I was able to go out there one time and wash a skillet to cook eggs and potatoes. I have zero food, like almost zero. I have 2 little small potatoes and I have about 4 eggs. I have hardly any food. I have no food stamps. I have no money. I have my direct deposit and I have to go to a tent with this. I will. I have no choice. The words I say now will not help me. No one will help me, not myself or anyone. I can help myself, yeah, but it's pretty hard. It should be self-evident by what I mean. Okay, so I was able to go wash one little skillet and get a little water to bathe myself, and I was trapped in my room again. Trapped, always trapped. Can't do anything, don't even dream of it. Okay, there's just bombs away in the bathroom. Bombs in the bathroom all day. And the stuff I reported in prior testimonies from today about construction and combat under the floor, banging, bashing, and the poisonous gases. Okay, we covered this. So this is what I was forbidden from talking about, and this is what I will no longer be silenced on. Okay? This is the kind of stuff, great and small. I've seen great, big, and I've seen small, but it's these things that I was forbidden from ever saying, and those days are over. Oh, forever, and I'm doing it with a vengeance for the rest of my life until I'm all dried up, talking about this street, talking about what I survived, and writing it all down. So look forward to that, people. No, in America, I will never make a penny. I'll be in a park doing it, or maybe some hard labor job that I got standing in a labor line. Folks, you don't understand. Do you understand? Maybe you do. What they're doing to me in this country? Do you? They made a poster girl out of me. They picked me, they focused on me, and they made a poster girl, a big famous poster girl out of me, of how brutal you can beat a fucking woman. And that's me, folks. I'm the lucky girl. So when I'm not working in my hard labor line job in vengeance, I'm talking about what fucking happened here, okay? Which only proves me right, but that's where we got the war crime charges for my good guys. Because I'm still trying to say this happened and hoping people believe me. And why is that? Because I listened to my fucking angel and I never talked about anything. I stayed silent. And what good did that do me? I don't see any good that did me. I see absolutely nothing that did for me. Okay, so today, one of these, it was either one of the white homosexual men, one of the Hispanic people that goes in and out, one of the very obvious either Albanian or Romanian people that goes in and out. It's just a very strict group of people that go in and out of 1513 ever since the day I moved in here. So it's this crowd, and I put it into writing. It's just summary, but I put it into writing who goes in there. No one else ever goes in there. For years, it's a neo-Nazi. It's very, very controlled over that. So somebody opened the garage door, and this happens all the time here. As soon as they open that garage door going to the alley, whether they're on foot or whether they're in a car, like this is how good those good guys are. Like I'm telling you, they have surveillance here, and you know it. Like that. They were over the house, hovering. I gave up and thinking they're raiding. So no, they'll never come in here and ever get me out. This is never going to happen. So I don't think that anymore. But they were right over the house. And you could hear the blades. They were flying so low, snapping like they're going to land on the roof. And they hover right over that driveway where you can hear them going in and out, or they're on foot from 1513, opening the garage door. Within less than 2 minutes, they're on top of their heads, hovering low with helicopters. I've seen it, but for multiple months, I'm not allowed to watch it or look at it out my window, but you hear it. Anyone on these streets knows there's a helicopter in the backyard hovering over one of these backyards. They don't stay too long, or they do. Sometimes they do a lot of stuff. I'll describe it later. I'm doing summary. But the fact is the helicopters are right on them within a matter of less than 2 minutes. So these guys are up there, obviously, and they're able to come zooming in on this shit at any moment's notice. I've learned that very well here. They're very smart and good military. They're nothing to mess with. Why they left me here, why they did all this, why they ended up with war crimes? Well, why don't you start with telling me something? That would take one of your crimes away. You won't have that on your charge record. Why don't you try talking to her? Why don't you try apologizing to her? That will be 2 less of your charges. You still need a lawyer. You still war criminals. I've given up. They're never going to do any of it. I'm never even going to get an apology from anyone. It's fucking criminal. Kiss them goodbye, Heidi. I had to. But they're very good at their job, and they're good people. They don't want to hurt anybody. I know that. They saved my life in here, okay? So they're not out trying to hurt anybody. But as far as engaging in war crimes, yeah, that's all I've witnessed them do. How and why? Because you can't carry on armed conflict in front of a fucking unarmed civilian and just leave them sitting there running around in it. That's how, that's why. And then you really can't ever not communicate with them what the fuck is happening. That's how, that's why. And another reason why, because you can't, after all that, let them go destroyed, traumatized, out the door into a state park. That's how, that's why. These guys flying over the house are fucking criminals now. You can't do that to civilians. You have to enter into the combat with a plan around that shit. And it isn't to just do whatever you want for fucking 6 years. That's not how it works. They're not evil. I don't want people to think the heroes are bad guys. They're not. I would trust them with my life. I'm alive because of them. I would trust my neighbor's kid with them. They're not evil, okay? Anyways, they're really good at their job, and they can hover down and swoop down within less than 2 minutes, 1 minute, right on any of these roofs, any of these backyards, anywhere they want. Now, I'm fucking direct eyewitness to. Yeah, I know they can. They're up there right now somewhere. They fly high and they're there. And there could be way more than one. It could be up to 3, 4. I've witnessed tons of just massive shit like that. So, but they always do it to the house 1513 S Street Northwest all the time. And this is what makes me so panicked and horrified It's not one of these motherfuckers in 1513 has been killed, has been arrested. The house has never been raided. The house has never been shut down. I've witnessed even more terrorists coming in. I started to witness Arabic, by eyewitness, Arabic people going in. They added to the people going in. I started to film and witness army, military men going in. They added, increased the level of terrorists with helicopters. Almost every time that male homosexual man drives out, there's a helicopter over his car. But I've been forbidden for a year from ever saying even those words. I'm going to put it into the writing too. I want to, but I'll figure out what I'm going to title this. And I've been forbidden from ever even talking about it. Forbidden from Beyond Cosmos. Forbidden. I'm not cooperating with that now, okay? There's no way you're going to get my cooperation like that now. It did me no good. I wasn't doing it for myself, but there's got to be a point where it needs to make sense. Have some rationale why you're doing this, and it's not happening. I'm not seeing any logic here. So just know that if you're a good person, which I don't believe there's good people in the city, I have not seen that. No, I've never seen that the whole time I was here. But if you're in this parameter, and there's one of the helicopters is hovering right by my house, is over 1513, that's why. They swoop down on them at least up to 3 times, 4 times a day. And then they'll come at night and swoop down on all these houses and swoop down on the house. They'll do it at night. Well, anytime they open that garage door in 1513, almost 60-70% of the time there's a helicopter that swoops down over the head. And then what makes me sick and makes me panicked is they don't care. They just drive on out, walk on out, come back, and they increased the fucking level of terrorists in 1513 that do that. They increased it. The amount, the number. Yeah. All right, so these good guys are definitely trying to stop it, but they don't do anything about the people who are sending the orders. They don't do anything about the big boss terrorists. They don't do anything about the terrorists in the White House who's protecting all of it. They don't do anything about any administration's DOD chiefs of staff. They don't do anything about anyone the fuck anywhere. They don't do anything about Netanyahu. They don't do anything about Putin. Where have they done anything? You tell me, okay? And you know what? No one will. No one will give me the respect to even tell me anything. I just have to sit by myself. I know. So what? I'm this poster girl? You know what? You go ahead, everybody. You go ahead and you listen to however I upload in the future, all my testimonies. You go ahead and you read however I publish it. And you remember that I deserved a lot of money for that. And you, as you read it or listen to it, contributed to my destroyed life. You contributed to destroying my life.